So I've watched the live action of Takagi-san, which is like the prelude to the movie, which is not out yet for international audiences. We'll have to wait for any sort of announcement as to whether they're going to release the movie. But for now, if you're on the fence on whether to watch the live action, my answer is a yes and a no, but mostly no. If it's your first time seeing Takagi-san, just watch the anime. It's slow but the payoff is really good in season 2 and 3 and the animated movie. And yes, just because they're doing a different take on a simple premise from the source material. And if you have limited time, then yeah, sure, just go watch the movie. Ain't no way you're gonna watch like 3 seasons and a movie. Is it the best? No, but I think you'll get the same like content from out of it. I'll structure this video episode by episode, giving a snippet recap and some comments, my likes and dislikes, and after that I'll give my final verdict on the show. Let's get started. Spoilers obviously. First impression of the main cast, they fit the roles well. I mean, the character designs of Nishikata and Takagi, it's not that complicated. Just a simple hairdo and a bit of makeup and you're pretty good to go. Though, it would have been funny if they actually got someone who matches Takagi's large forehead. We have Rui Tsukishima as Takagi and Soya Kurokawa as Nishikata. So I've checked their past roles in IMDb and both of them have few roles since they're still pretty early in their careers. Plus they're the same age as Takagi and Nishikata, so kids be acting as kids. So the first episode started off with Nishikata walking to school and getting jump scared by Takagi. And then a flash forward of what's to come for the show. We see them in their usual classroom. Nishikata plotting to get back at Takagi-san's teasing, and we already know he's pretty much gonna lose. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? But for me, watching their usual antics in live action feels kinda stiff in this first half because I'm so used to Nishikata's over-exaggerated reactions and screams that pierces my ears in the anime. He has moments like that in the show of course, jumping from his seats and funny voice cracks man, puberty hitting hard man. He's more toned down here since it's real life of course. Ain't no way anybody's gonna act like an anime character in real life. Holy! Takagi-san's an artist? Jesus. I know someone else drew this but canonically this is Takagi-san's illustration. Even in the anime she's freaking goated with the sauce. Actual talent in art and teasing. The second part of the first episode, I gotta admit, was kinda cute, not gonna lie. It was basically where Nishikata tries to prove to Takagi-san that he could run to the beach and take a picture of the sunset. And their interaction was a bit stiff and awkward but I still quite liked the scene. The scenery was beautiful, especially the backshot and the sunset. Ooh. After that, they went for a bike ride to their home and their interaction there was pretty wholesome and then cuts to Takagi-san's room and shows the eraser showing the first kanji of Nishikata's name. And this is not a live action issue, but also an anime issue. But goddamn Nishikata's an actual dumbass, bro didn't even think to turn the eraser around. Bro lost the 50-50 when trying to take a peek in the eraser. And then the ending song played, which surprised me because I didn't know Aimer sang it. That was a pleasant surprise. I like it, though I would prefer it to be like Yukio Ohara, the opening singer for the anime, just to keep tradition going. Aimer's still goated though, it's just my preference. Episode 2, there's nothing major that happened but there are some key points that I want to make some comments about. There's this scene where Nishikata's trying to make Takagi-san laugh by making some wacky faces and gets in trouble. The reaction from the teacher was pretty great, and comparing it to the anime, I'd say the teacher laughing at Nishikata's antics was way better in the live action. Okay, this scene made me cringe and rolled my eyes, but I gotta admit, that's kinda cute. And a small tangent here is that you know those lockers where they keep the cleaning equipment and the place where the steamy hiding scenes happen in anime? I did not realize it was so tight. One Takagi-san can pretty much fit in that. Make it 2, you're wishing for a death sentence by suffocating in those anime girl jugs. Episode 3. I have a lot to say about this episode, so they immediately went to the library episode and it's one of my favorites actually. I knew that they were going to do that bit where Takagi-san professed her love to Nishikata while he remained stun-locked, Takagi-san backtracking and covering up saying, "It was stated in the books." In my opinion, they did it pretty well. They got the timing right, it was unexpected in Nishikata's point of view, even though I expected it because there was a long pause. But it was executed really well. At the end, maybe they could have made Takagi-san's murmuring a bit lower, but this is Nishikata we're talking about. Motherfucker's denser than Keiso's physique.
Yep, you're banned. Have a good night.
But I think a good episode to add after this near-miss confession is to add the critical hit episode, which is Season 1, Episode 11. Basically, Nishikata got Takagi-san flustered for the first time with him declining the boys to play video games and going with her instead, which made her heart go kyun. So the only reason he got that critical hit in that episode is because of some horoscope BS. But I don't think they need to add that element because right after they go out of the library, his homies offer him to play video games when they go home, and Nishikata declines because he turned Takagi-san's reasoning for not recommending the book into a guessing game. After walking and not figuring it out, Takagi-san asked why he declined their offer, and you pretty much know what happens after that. Hey, leave a comment if I actually cook with that one, and subscribe. Should have hired me for their screenwriting, lamao. This is where they showed Nishikata doing push-up equivalent to the amount of Takagi's teasing, and probably why he's built and well-shaped and how he became the PE teacher as shown in the spin-off manga Takagi-san Moto and the movie trailer. But I feel like they could have shown Nishikata's growth in arm strength if they could have added the skipping stone episode in Season 2 Episode 1, where Takagi-san almost fell into the river but Nishikata saved her and took the fall instead, which in my opinion could add more to that romance and impact element in the last few episodes. But I could see this going bad for the actor's safety and could injure both of them, so the logistics are the concern. So it's understandable if they didn't add that. Lastly, they were listening to 100% Unrequited Love's opening song because the movie trailer showed them in the same location, and I think it's a nice scene to remember and recall the wholesome moments of that time. Episode 4. I would say this is the turning point where we get a glimpse of where the story will deviate from the source material. The start and the middle were the usual routine, Takagi-san misleading Nishikata into thinking she's making a scarf for a boy his age but revealed she's making a scarf for the dog in the candy shop. And the second half is a competition of gifting each other candies that they would think the others would like. And the most important one was their New Year shrine visit. This is where we get a glimpse of the deviation from the source material, and I would say it gets interesting, since Takagi-san was kind of foreshadowing and hinting that she'll never meet Nishikata, which got me like, whoa, don't tell me they're gonna give someone cancer in my wholesome slice of life. And this is where I pretty much locked in and see where it goes. So episode 5 is pretty much a Valentine's Day episode. At this point, I'm pretty much used to the live action's vibe and feel of the show, even if it's like awkward and stiff. So anyways, the episode showed some light exposure to some characters, which are Nakai, Mano, Hojo, and Hamaguchi. And from this point forward, they won't get any more screen time until the movie, obviously. So the main focus of this episode was the last bit here. Oh shit, they're moving away. Ain't no way, Bren. Okay, where are you gonna go? Freaking Tokyo, Sapporo, Osaka maybe? Surely. Oh yeah, where? France? Bro, ain't no way they're going to France, man. What the hell? Bro, what? Of all the places you could have think of inside Japan, we're going to France, boy. And yeah, that's the end of that episode and the deviation from the story in the manga and anime. I do commend them for this change. It's an interesting route to go to. It gave me that freaking shock factor at least, rather than sticking to the national area of Japan or a fucking doozy. So episode 6 is where Nishikata found out she was moving. He was informed by Nakai and not by Takagi-san herself, which made him sad and depressed since they were very close, and him finding out from another person bummed him out, which is an understandable feeling to have when someone you love doesn't tell you an important detail that will change your interaction and literally you won't be able to meet them again, which the episode portrayed really well. Shots of Nishikata looking at Takagi-san majority of the time, Nishikata even down in the dumps gets debated, the context being Takagi implying she wants to take his uniform button, which is a symbolism for giving an important item to your crush. Nishikata isn't in his usual mojo of getting revenge. He's spaced out, making Takagi-san think he forgot his textbook, and them being close to one another cute. The obvious one reigning at the last half of the episode where Takagi-san quote-unquote forgot her umbrella. The shot of them under the umbrella illustrates that they're in their own universe with no one to bother them, and it's their presence that comforts them in this cold rain, which I like.
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And lastly, them singing, switching from Takagi and Nishikata's vocals, depicting the long years that they will be separated. Episode 7. Out of all of the episodes, this is by far one of my favorites out of the show. The episode starts by Nishikata walking to school and seeing the empty classroom where he reminisces his time with Takagi, throwing us back to the time where he was jump scared by Takagi-san in the science room in episode 2, and Takagi, by the way, hasn't moved out yet. Nishikata being a dumbass, looking everywhere except the balcony, my guy's blind and dumb at the same time. And we get to see them just being alone in the class until they get interrupted. After that, a montage of people talking to Takagi and saying their farewells while Nishikata is on the side watching Takagi, and we get another throwback to them just staring at each other. Hella cute. And here's my favorite part of the show, which I did not expect at all, and his teacher giving Nishikata 10 out of 10 solid advices, ranging from love advices and putting him in the positive direction. Here, I'll just play out the scene.
いいな、青春だな。たくさん悩め。たくさんな。
After that episode, the teacher just became my favorite character in the show. 10 out of 10 Sigma energy, Gigachad advices to our dense boy Nishikata, and the best wingman you could ask for. Holy Omega Base teacher. Then last but not the least, they yoinked episode 8 in season 3 of the anime and twisted it to fit the current narrative of the show. Just to recap the episode, it's basically them just climbing a large amount of stairs to see a beautiful view and a huge rock beside them, and just chilling and vibing, the usual stuff. The only criticism I would make for this one is why is Nishikata tired as fuck, man. My guy does like his daily push-up. Seriously, that's at least gonna help with the stamina though. Well, you can make the argument that it's only like leveling up his upper body and not his lower half, but still, my guy should have at least have more stamina than this, man. Anyways, this part of the episode is great. It basically details and lays out all of Nishikata's feelings and indirectly confessing his love for Takagi. And plus, you get to see this breathtaking view. 10 out of 10. And episode 8 is, I would say, the biggest troll and debate episode. So it starts with Nishikata in his room, then his phone rang, which was from Takagi-san. They talked and bantered, and it led to Takagi-san asking Nishikata what's the most embarrassing but happiest thing that happened to her. He gets 3 tries, and the last one is what really matters, and his answer was a confession, which stunned-locked Takagi-san for a second. Critical hit moment. So after that call, Nishikata went to school imagining what would happen if Takagi-san were here. And Lord and behold, she was actually here, and her departure got postponed, so she's gonna stick for a while, but she's still gonna go to Paris. So after their interaction, it cuts to Takagi's departure. And on a side tangent, the actress of Takagi's mom is one beautiful lady. Sorry, my adult woman fetish is showing, but yeah. It ends with Nishikata saying his farewells, chasing after the boat, and cutting off to the ending credits, which is alright, it'll leave you hanging, so that's the part where you go and watch the movie, since this is just the prelude to that. So I came into this show thinking I would see them in their adult years, but after the last episode and researching that it was going to be a movie, I facepalmed and basically blue-balled myself for a long time. I don't know when the movie will air internationally, but I want to give props to the live action. I like how there is like cohesiveness and seamless transitions to different parts of the story. What I mean by this is that compared to the anime's aimlessness and directionless in season 1 and season 2, except for the last 2 episodes, where it's just a compilation of Takagi-san's and Nishikata's interaction, and there's nothing wrong with that obviously. But for the live action, just feels natural how they integrated parts and making them a foundation that can be built off later in the episodes. But in my opinion, they took like some of the weakest parts of Takagi-san's chapters and episodes. I would have liked them to use some of the banger episodes in the anime. They could have done them really well. And the acting, as I watched the show, it grew on me a little bit. Yeah, at first it felt stiff and forced for me since I've only watched a few J movies and J dramas. Most of them I have like the same opinion. They're all stiff and kind of forced. But maybe if I watched more, I can get used to them. But yeah, maybe this is just my over-exaggerated anime voice acting like brain just kicking in. That's why I'm not used to this. So moving on to the OST. Most of it is ambience and occasional mischievous songs that plays when they're having like a competition. Then there's a wholesome moment that happens. The flute OST starts to play, and then there's another one that's the chime OST. I don't know the names of the OST, so I'm just naming based on the instruments and feel of it. But for me, they don't really stand out that much. They don't use its full potential on how they use it in the anime. Though to be fair, a lot of the Takagi-san OST isn't that memorable as well in Season 1. But Season 2 and Season 3, you can argue that there are some of the OSTs that are memorable just because of how they enhance the experience of the moment. For the live action, I did not really feel the way for the OST. Nothing is special and stands out for me. It's mostly just there. So moving on to the cinematography and visual aspects of the show, I have pretty much zero complaints about it. I feel like it does its job, just a nitpick. I would have preferred them to use a little bit more color grading, especially on like Takagi's uniform, especially like the red scarf. They could have made it more vibrant, but yeah, that's just me. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. This is the end of the video. And if you stuck long enough, why not like and subscribe? Leave a comment down below. What do you think of the live action show? Is it good? Is it mid? Does it do justice for Takagi-san? And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Bye!